So it's 2024, if you can believe it. And I did 25 or 24 days of vlogging in Vlogmas. So I was opening up my advent calendars and getting into showing any of my advent projects and just like enjoying the holiday season. So I took a few weeks to kind of get back into my New Year routine. It was a little bit of like coming from my parents back to here, and getting settled in back in our own home. So I hope you enjoyed Vlogmas. If you got a chance to watch some of those videos, it was a lot of fun to film, and I kept it just short and sweet because it's every day that I'm posting. So now I am here in mid-January with some projects that I've started or want to start, and a lot of things that I just honestly want to finish up that are lingering projects. So right now I have about 7 to 9 projects going on, which seems like a lot, but I'm not working on all of them all the time. So for a while I was working on the West Knit shawl. So this is the West Knit shawl from October, and I have not picked this back up, but just like looking at it, it's really cool. So this will definitely be something I'll pick back up, or even maybe adjust to be something different than what like the finished pattern suggests. So whether that's taking out some of the really complicated stitches that Stephen West does and doing something a little more mindless. I think it'd be fun to just like continue on with stripes somehow off of the sides. It'll just take some finagling and maybe even like someone who has a design perspective on knitwear to kind of help me with the increases and decreases, because I can have like as many creative ideas as I want, but actually doing the math of like making sure the slope of the shawl gets developed right, I might need some help on that. So I won't be afraid to ask some friends or look on Ravelry to see of people who maybe have some really good pattern notes on adjustments they've made. So yeah, like this side, I think I finished this side of the increases, it looks like, because I put it on hold, so I must have finished it. And I was starting this side. So I think like honestly I'm at a point where I could finish this. Like I know I could. So yeah, it's one of those ones I'm okay with it lingering for a while. I just knew taking on the Stephen West cowl was going to be a task, and I wasn't going to be one of those people to finish it in a month. To those folks who actually were able to do that, I'm so impressed by that, because that is not an easy feat by any means. And then this is another lingering project. I figured we just walk through some of like the biggest lingering projects I have going. This is the Les Knit porcelain sweater, and mine looks quite different than what you see on the samples, because mine is a done in neutrals. In the photo it's done in like a white and blue to like look like a porcelain, like Delft pottery sort of vibe. But this is mine, and I'm really excited with the way the motifs are coming and the way my colors work. Like there's definitely enough contrast, but it's neutral enough that I could wear this like pretty much any season, right? Like it's pretty seasonless. So this is the sweater I'll pick up probably again right after my test knit, because this I was able to like get going pretty quickly and gather momentum. But the test knit I'm working on right now, which I just don't want to share because the designer hasn't released it yet, is called Let's Dance by Jill Bigelow Sattel, who's based here in Northern Michigan. And it has a lot of cabling and it's really complicated, so it's taking a lot of my energy and time right now. But I'm loving the way it's coming together, and I'm like determined to not put it down until it's finished, and not like start something new or go back to other things. So yeah, this sweater will be picked up probably as like the sweater I start right after this one's finished. Um, then in December, I casted on my Advent project, which I'm loving. This is really fun and enjoyable to knit. And it's so soft and just cozy. And I think it's going to be like a beautiful piece once it's done. It has like the eyelets and the lacy bits. And I had just started another color, and the mohair in it is just creating this beautiful halo. So like this project is the one I'll probably bring with me when I travel to Peru in February, so next month, because I'll have a lot of like time to kind of work on it, and it's a okay social knit. Like you do have to be somewhat focused, but I do think it's something once I get more and more in the hang of it and like remind myself, because I was making some mistakes and then having to go back, that it will be a good one to travel with. So that'll be my February pickup project. And then the blanket I've been working on for about 2 years or so. It's been a task. Is so close. Like there's literally 2 or 3 stripes left. So this is another one that I might bring to Peru and just say, you're finishing it while you're there. It's really beautiful. And it's massive at this point. And I could just stop now. I really could. But once you've put so much time into something, and you know that really all you have to do is just go a little bit farther, it's kind of like, why stop now? So I just put on the pink color to continue working on this, and I think it's gonna be pink stripe, so it goes green, pink, and gray. So I think that's where I wanted to end this, on the gray. So there's really only like 2 or 3 more segments left, and this Malabrigo blanket will be done, and it's gonna look so nice in my house, and it's really soft and it's got a great weight to it. It's just super cozy. So yeah, this is one where I know I'm like really close to having it done, and so that's exciting. So it's almost like between the socks I have, like I have 2 pairs of socks that are like 80% done. They'll be done probably by the end of February. I should have both those done. And then this blanket could probably be done by February. Then I could just like clear out 3 projects and then have a little bit less to focus on, which I think is the goal with my knitting. Like I love to cast things on and have many projects to work on at a time. But when you have so many, you don't see as much progress. So that's why I kind of pick projects to like get a lot done on. And then if I set it aside for a little bit, at least it's like 70 to 80% there, and I can come back to it later and continue to work on it. So that's kind of like where my head's at, because sometimes you just reach a point of burnout where you're not enjoying the project anymore because you've just been like, all you've been doing is putting your energy into that. So you need to break it up with something else, like whether it be a sock or a hat that's simple. I did finish my green Oslo hat that's been on the needles since October, and I just worked on it here and there, and I finished it rather quickly, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I did that in the wool stock from Blue Sky Fibers. Right now, before I was filming, I just couldn't find it. I don't know. I was wearing it. I took it off. I wore it to teaching this week, so it's somewhere. It's probably in my closet on the floor or something. So when I find it, I'll share it in the next podcast. I will be back to my schedule of podcasting at least once a week. When I'm in Peru, depending on how internet is and all of that, will depend on if I'm able to film. So I might take that week off. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be a really exciting year. I have a lot of projects that I want to work on. And I think one thing I'm trying to do is be a little more mindful about my yarn purchasing. Um, I'm really good at purchasing like single skeins. That's like my specialty right now. Um, but luckily, I like knitting socks. And that will allow me to have that yarn for sock knitting. So I did buy um, this January the Practically Perfect Sock color from Emma's Yarn. This is the January 2024 colorway, and it's really fun. It's a beautiful deep blue with greens. It has some specks in it. It kind of is starting to remind me of like the what is that called? The Aurora Borealis. I just think it's the Northern Lights. It's so pretty. So I think this will be a really fun one to make socks in, or even a hat. But I think if I were to do the Musselburgh hat, I would have needed more yarn, or even the Oslo. So I'm fine with doing this as socks, or like a simple little shawl. It's also like a good color on me, so it could be a nice accessory. So yeah, I was excited about that purchase. And then the other skein of yarn I purchased was, I've had my eye on this color from Keenan Yarn for a little bit now. It's just like the most beautiful deep green, almost like an emerald tone. So this could be a lovely little Sophie scarf, or a little like little triangular shawl, or socks. It'll be, I think any of those things, I'd be really happy with it. It's just one of those ones where I'm like kind of treasuring it because I just love this color so much. I also really like her superwash base. You know, when you find a base you like, it's kind of hard to like choose a different one. So whatever she uses as her base, I mean, it's superwash merino with 25% nylon, but it's the way it's spun that I really like. Yeah, so I'm excited about this one. And then last but not least, I have this really fun heritage yarn from Cascade. It's again 75% superwash merino and nylon. It's pretty actually similar to the base of the other one I like, but this feels softer for some reason. They say it's super fine, so maybe that's why. But it creates this really cool patterning, which I thought would be kind of addicting to knit, because you get to see that all come together with the colors in between. So that's what kind of attracted me to this, because I enjoyed so much knitting my striped Advent socks this winter. So yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a really fun one to do. So it'll be in my stash for a while, I'm sure. The stash is growing, that's all I can say. As far as what I'm reading or like enjoying in my personal life, I have been reading Fourth Wing, and I had a hard time like focusing at parts of this book, but I have enjoyed it quite a bit. I just don't know if I'm really a fantasy reader. I tend to like more mystery, or I guess romance, something in that realm I tend to enjoy more. But I think Fourth Wing will be a really good book to just like say I read it because it's been so popular in pop culture right now. And then the other thing I've been enjoying, just reading these short stories. It's from Clara Parks, and it's called A Stash of One's Own. I've picked this book up like so many times over the last couple of years, and even if I've read one of the short stories from this before, I'll read it again just because they bring me so much warmth and comfort, especially if I just need a little pick-me-up. And it's basically a stash of one's own, knitting, living, and letting go of yarn. So it's a compilation of stories from different people, and it's all about the way in which they've like stashed yarn, or what their stash is about, or their collection. and kind of like letting go of that yarn or the process of stashing and not letting it weigh you down. So if you're looking for a really good book, I recommend this. It's just a really heartwarming story, and combination of stories that all kind of have different perspectives, but really go well together. So you could read like probably one like 20 minutes before you go to bed. You could probably read one of the short stories. And then I was really excited. This past weekend I went to the Fiber Shed. So this is their logo. It's in Boyne City, Michigan, which is where my parents live. And I was there to ski this weekend, and I purchased this yarn. And this is from her own flock of sheep, I believe. So she has the names here. I think it's Yogurt and Lila. And it's 300 yards of worsted weight yarn, and it's just stunning. I don't know if she hand spun this or if this is mill spun, but it's really cool. And I bought this because I thought it would make a great Oslo hat. I like this neutral color, which I knit a lot of Oslo hats because they're just easy for me to knit. I basically know the pattern now. It's a hat that I like the way it looks on me, and I would knit them again and again. And then, or it could be a really sweet little like triangular cape. And I loved the color of it. It's just the natural color from the sheep, so it's not dyed or anything. It's just washed and processed. And yeah, so this was a really cool purchase, and I was just really happy to support her own yarn being in her shop. I thought that was really cool. So this was from Nadine at the Fiber Shed. My advent calendar yarn, this is all the yarn from the textured advent calendar from Sweet Nestings, and when I look at these, it's just really cool to see. They're so fun, and it's gonna be a really great blanket project to start once my other blanket is finished. So I'm giving myself a little time. I don't know if I'll use this on its own. I might use this on its own instead of using it in the blanket, or what could be fun is hold it with some of the yarns that could use some softness. So like these like more cotton or whatever yarns that were in the advent calendar, maybe it's just like holding it with this to give it a halo in parts. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. It could be fun. I mean, the cozier the blanket is, the more I'm gonna want to use it. I think still like this is probably one of my favorite skeins from the advent calendar. It's really cool. There were so many good ones. So yeah, I was really happy with both of my advent calendars this year. And I had gotten these stitch markers from the gift exchange at my retreat, and they're so pretty. So I'm hoping to like introduce these into some lingering projects just to kind of gain my excitement back with them. Yeah, so that is basically where I'm at for this new year. I'm really trying to build more structure into my day-to-day, doing things for my mental health, exercising. I even have a hula hoop now that I'm keeping in my house because sometimes it's just when you work from home and you're sitting a lot like I am with all the activities I'm doing, I just need to move my body more to kind of let go of some of that tension I'm holding in my neck and shoulders and even in my hips. So I figured it would be a good thing to do that. So it's a wellness journey, it's a knitting journey, it's a fiber journey, and I'm so glad that you all are here to watch with me, no matter how many people choose to watch my podcast or even know about it. I really enjoy the process of doing this because it's a way to feel more connected with myself and maybe to friends who don't get to see all my work all the time. They get to kind of see what I'm up to, and then when I call them on the phone, they're like, oh, I saw you were working on that. So it just allows me to feel really connected to myself and then to whoever else watches. So I hope everyone has a great day and rest of the week. I'll be back next week on Wednesday or Thursday. Bye.